Welcome everyone to day one of what is it called? The Shift Happens, Powering Through Transitions. I'm so grateful that you're here and taking the time out of your day, and especially Andrea, guest all the way from Germany, who's staying up late just to be with us, and that's a privilege. We don't often get people joining us at that time of the day. So it's midnight in Germany, and so thank you, Andrea, first of all, for coming and joining us, and Dipak, okay, thank you for joining us as well. I'm sure other people will roll in shortly. So a little background around this. In my journey in my corporate world, I've been through 24 restructures and 4 redundancies, and I came to the realization that early in about a month ago, that my journey in corporate world is coming to an end, and where I want to be working is really helping people who are going through change in the corporate world, who are going through change not only in work but also in life, and be able to impart some knowledge of the journey that I've been through trauma and going through changes in my life. So I put this 5-day challenge together to give everyone a bit of a taste of what is possible when you actually apply yourself and work through the challenges in life and really champion your life, right? So there we go. Oh, just before we carry on. So, there are many mountains that we climb in life, but at the top of every peak is another mountain to climb, right? And it's a continuous journey. It's never a destination, it's always a journey. And we have the opportunity to embrace and go on that journey and just see what happens. It's like amazing things happen when you don't expect them. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, we'll briefly introduce ourselves, and then I'll quickly talk about the purpose of the challenge, what we're going to cover each day, outcomes, and so on. So if you'd like to come off mute and introduce yourselves, Deepak, you want to go first?
Yep. Deepak, I haven't gone through 24 restructures like you, but definitely 5 or 6, and sort of been in a similar position with redundancy earlier in the year. So been rethinking what I want to do as well. So that's why we obviously related when we caught up last week. And I agree. Changes life. It's the only constant along with taxes.
And death.
A lot of people are afraid of change, so I think it's something that I've been doing a lot of business transformation from a corporate perspective. So and that's change. So it's a topic that I'm quite fascinated on, and and I may end up back in the corporate world, or I may end up consulting on from that perspective. But it's background wise, I've been a banker, but it's time for change.
Nice. Yeah, it was 21 years in
Yeah.
the ASB Bank. Yeah. So that's a pretty good stint. Thank you, Dipak. Andrea?
Yeah, I had my share as well of restructuring. Especially, I think what really started my whole coaching journey was in 2019, due to company restructuring, 3 of the departments got dissolved in my company. So I rebounded quickly, it felt like, and I got a new job. Everything was great, but it was 2020, and as everybody knows, unfortunately, a lot of people got laid off due to the pandemic. And so I kind of found myself like, all right, what am I supposed to be getting from this situation? Like, I couldn't believe, that 2 times in 1 year. I mean, it just seemed implausible. But I've been wanting to do, coaching. I do a lot of personal growth stuff. So I figured that would be the time that, since we were in lockdown, it was the second lockdown by that time, I'd get certified in coaching, and I would use my time at home to start a new career. And so that's basically how I ended up where I am now as an
Nice.
EFT empowerment coach and EFT practitioner.
Thank you. A little bit about me. I'm Anthony Dyer. I'm a mindset coach, a podcaster of the Champion Mindset Collective podcast, and also now a consultant, helping businesses navigate change, empower their people, and strengthen their business. And just quickly, 4 redundancies. First one, cried my eyes out, begging for my job back. Second one, lots of anger. Third one, I was like, "Ooh, what are the opportunities?" And the fourth one was a big slap in the face from the universe, going, "Come on, are you still wanting more or what?" So it's like, "Okay, let's do this." So here we are, and here we are at this 5-day challenge to really explore and to go together on a journey of sharing our experiences and be able to also hopefully impart a bit of knowledge and experience strategies on how we can move forward. So the purpose of this challenge is to really help everyone who joins this challenge to understand what happens emotionally when you're going through change, how to build resilience, how to communicate through change, how to network, and also what are the steps going forward. And myself and any of the coaches that are joining us, we are also open to hearing from from people attending it, because we all bring a different perspective and we all have different experiences, so we can all learn from each other. So this is a judgment-free zone, and we all learn from each other and grow together, right? What can you do? So those are going to be the outcomes. You're going to be able to understand how to emotional resilience, um, communicate through changes, and then be able to network and have a strategy going forward. What can you do over these 5 days? You can lean in, you can be curious, you can ask questions, there'll be workbooks each day, which I'll email out after each session, and there'll be opportunities to reflect and learn yourself what's going on for you. And you may choose to decide to reach out to myself or one of the coaches who specialize in the areas of expertise. So the next slide is around now. I was going fancy. I was going to do a Mentimeter thing, but there's only 3 of us here, but maybe we could set the standard. So if you've got a phone, or there's a link, what I can do is I can copy this link. Just give me a second. If you've got a phone and you've got a QR code, do you want to just try and
I'm calling in on my phone, so I'll have to.
yeah. So what this section is about is like, what are the standards that we're going to set for ourselves over the next 5 days, you know? And I'm going to enter some stuff. I'm going to go lean in, be curious, and we should be able to see some real life. Oh, look at that. Be intentional, lean in, resilience, integrity, growth, and be curious. Yeah, absolutely. So these are the things that we can do. it's a shame we haven't got other people, but so if you're watching this replay, if you're watching the replay of this, email through the standards that you'd like to set for the next 5 days. So, what does embracing change through power transitions mean? Well, we're going to discover some strategies to navigate life's transformative moments, and we will have experts in their field joining us through this journey. Embracing change through these transitions, we want to make sure that we are adapting to the circumstances. Transitioning requires us to be adaptable, to have an adaptable mindset, and to have the ability to pivot, rather than having a fixed mindset where people say, "Oh, I'm born this way, I can't do this." But being able to go, "Hey, you know what? I've come to a crossroads. I can pivot, and I can either go this way or that way. Which way am I going to choose?" Rather than sort of putting your head in the sand type thing and going, "I don't know what to do." But yeah, being agile, being adaptable, and having a growth mindset helps. Planning for success, so having a strategic plan, and then also building that emotional resilience, which is quite key to sustaining a successful change. If you have any questions, please put your hand up, and more than happy to. So we get to embrace change with confidence. The more clarity we have, the more we do the work, the more we can embrace change with confidence and move forward. Now I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher, said, "Change is the only constant in life. Embrace it and grow stronger." And as you said, Dipak, the only things that are given are death, taxes, and change, but there's also the weather as well, because the weather's unpredictable, right? So here in Auckland, Andrea, we have like 4 seasons in one day. Last week or so, it's been raining and sunny like within minutes. Like it just keeps changing. So we're just going, oh well, we'll just go with it, you know. And that's the kind of change that we need to be able to adapt. Is like, you know what, shit happens, but through that shift happens, right? So be adaptable to that change. So empowering change, again, as I said before, adaptability is key to success, embracing the journey of transformation with courage, with vulnerability, with authenticity, self-compassion, and empathy. And it's important for us to practice all of these things, be courageous in this journey, be vulnerable when you need to. It's okay to be the way you are, whatever's going through, and being authentic to yourself. One of the things that I've learned in the years in corporate world is that a lot of organizations don't want you to be your authentic self. They just want you to do what they want you to do, but they don't want you to show up authentically. And that was my experience. And I don't know what it is for you guys, but I felt quite restricted in being myself because I couldn't be my true self. And when you're going through this, it's important that we give ourselves self-compassion. There are going to be days when we're going to suck, and we're really good. Things are not going to be we're not going to be on top, but that's okay. Give yourself empathy. Resilience fosters the growth and progress. Navigating the through change requires a proactive mindset. So we've got to be constantly going, okay, what can I do? What are the opportunities? And being aware of what's coming, opportunities are coming up, and letting your intuition guide you rather than your thoughts in your head. One of the things is that your mindset or your thoughts are neutral until you give it meaning. And whatever meaning you give it is going to determine what emotion you're going to feel and what action you're going to take going forward. So our reality, our current reality, is made up of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. So what are the 5 stages of, so when we go through change, often, whether it's personal life or professional life, or whether it's sickness or death, there are stages of grief that we go through. And there's a model called the Kubler-Ross model, which I've been looking at. It's more around looking at the emotional impacts of change on ourselves. And so I'd like to share this with you. Before I go into it, whenever we go through change, we experience uncomfortable emotions, and they are often accompanied with unpleasant physical changes that we notice in our bodies. When change happens, you might get a headache, or your heart might start beating faster. You might get things in your stomach. And it could be the situation which tests our confidence, such as so these emotions and feelings are totally normal. It's your body's way of response, and it's how your brain and your body respond to the things that we perceive as a threat. And your brain is designed to keep you safe. Its job is to protect you. Sometimes it just does such an amazing job that we end up sort of being stuck because we stay in a comfort zone. And one thing I want to say is, when you're in your comfort zone, that's when your dreams go to die. Because your comfort zone is where fear is saying, hey, if you take that step, this is what's going to happen. But if you think about it, our ancestors, or years and years and thousands of years ago, who felt threat from saber-toothed tigers and dinosaurs or whatever, right? They either had to basically they had the flight or fight response. So when they saw a predator, they either had to run, or they had to freeze, or they had to stand and fight. And we don't have to do that in these days. So we're so fortunate and so blessed that we can, but often our brain, we're fighting with our brain. So this could be a situation where it tests our confidence, such as trying something new, having to speak in front of others. It could be a result of negative thoughts in response, just thinking about something we have to do. And it's what we call the flight. So fight, flight, and freeze. There's also fawn as well. But yeah, things that come up like worry, anxiety, fear, panic, tension. And you might feel like your brain's been hijacked. You'll get dizzy, breathe fast. So when you're breathing fast and shallow, then you can't regulate yourself. You're not taking enough breath in. Um, and and that will make you feel like you're choking. Your stomach churns, might feel nausea, butterflies, muscle tensors, bladder, going to the toilet multiple times, tingles in your legs, heart beats faster, body sweats, heat. Your mouth is dry, and even your eyes are widened, and you get blurry with vision and stuff like that. So these are all responses. These are all things that when adrenaline is kicking in, when it's died down, then we start feeling a lot calmer, and then we'll feel shaky and a bit weak as well. So, part of a brain is doing things like, it's the logical brain, it's controlling things, it's analytical, it's trying to reason things, um, it's strategy, reality, all of these things that our brain is programmed from our childhood to do. Now, whenever these things happen, like I remember when every time I went through a restructure, for me, it was like going back to my 7-year-old self in the ashram in India, which was crossed between army and prison. And so every time there was a restructure, I felt like I was back at my 7-year-old self in that ashram. And it makes you feel scared. But if you look at the flip side, because your brain's split into two hemispheres, and there's so much stuff on the other side that we can do, like art, wishes, happiness, that's what it was. Imagination, music, love, peace, creativity, freedom, and intuition. And if we really start to check our thoughts and go, in CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, they use this method called the 3C method, which is catch your thought, check your thought, change your thought. So catch the thought, is this true? No, change it, check it and then change it. Fear, what is fear? Well, fear is false evidence appearing real. It's actually not real. Fear is not real. It's only the meaning that you give that thought that creates the fear. And again, as I said before, it comes from your past programming, from your childhood. Fear also has two meanings. One is forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And it's a choice that we have. What do we do in the situation? But if we live in faith every day, and we live believing in something higher than us, then we're going to have a lot more ability to move forward and with faith. So the Kubler-Ross model, I'm going to play these two videos. Are very short, and what are we time-wise? 30 minutes. Okay.
What are the 5
Can you hear
stages
that?
of grief described by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross?
The 5 stages of grief described by my co-author Elizabeth Kubler-Ross are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. She first identified them in 1969 in her book On Death and Dying. And the stages have now become as legendary as she is, and they are very well known and commonly used by many people to identify milestones that we go through in grief. But as she always said, those stages are as individual as we are. We're all going to go through them in different ways. They don't have to be linear. You don't have to have 1 month for each stage. And some people may spend more time in anger and less time in depression, and they're very different. We always say one of the biggest misconceptions is that we have to follow the stages, where the truth is the stages reflect where we are. So just do your grieving, and you may notice from time to time, oh, I'm in that stage. But just know it's not a prescribed formula that you have to do. It just helps you normalize where you may be. And you may go through the stages more than once.
So that was this guy, David Kessler, was the co-author of that book. Elizabeth Ross, 1969, she wrote this book, but it's now been implemented in the change curve in project management and change management and so on.
Hi guys, welcome to Practicing Best Practices and the Kubler-Ross change model. This model was created by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who actually studied people and the process they had as they were dying, literally. And so, what's interesting about this model is kind of an adaptation when it comes to project management and change management to really understand the phases that someone goes through really deeply emotionally as they embrace kind of a new state in their lives. So, it might be a stretch to apply kind of the phases of becoming accepting as you're dying to a project. But I think that there's some value in really looking at those phases when it comes to letting go of the old and accepting the new in whatever you're doing. So her phases are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. So the idea here is that there's different phases people go through. When there's a change thrust upon them or a big event thrust upon them in a team or an organization or in life, there's denial. There's kind of ignoring of the fact that this thing has happened and the implications of it specifically. But as that denial becomes impossible to fully deny, there could be anger that this change is happening. And over time, recognition that maybe there's a way to kind of bargain that next phase and kind of maybe negotiate a little around this change. Let's keep the status quo a bit. Let's not fully embrace the change. But after the bargaining phase, there could be some depression, a recognition that we really do have to let go of the old. And that depression will eventually lead to acceptance that this change is happening, acceptance that I'm going to be impacted by the change, and acceptance that there's a new future. So you can map out where individual stakeholders are, where teams are, where groups are, perhaps using this model, and really understand their emotional states and create communication plans and support and coaching, support people through this phase, the different phases that they may be going through as they change. So that's the Kubler-Ross change model. For more best practice templates and applications, visit praxi.com.
Thank you. What's his name? Whatever his name is. Just briefly, conscious of time, those are the 5 stages, and I'll put all this information into the workbook and email that through to you so you can read it in your own time. But yeah, often we go through, this isn't happening, why is this happening to me? And then in business you could go through bargaining where you're going, well, maybe we don't need to change this, maybe we can keep it this way. Then once you come to the realization that you go through that depression stage, and then acceptance. So it's important to talk to someone who can help you and support you, comfort through the denial stage, taking deep breaths, channeling your anger through the second stage, and exercise helps, exercise, meditation, all that sort of stuff, mindfulness. Focus on the acceptance side of it, understanding that some things are beyond your control, practicing, as I said before, practicing self-compassion, and then embrace the power of gratitude. This is so important. I do this every day. And when you do give gratitude for what you have, you get more of what you're grateful for. Talk to someone about your feelings, engage with positive activities, take breaks, and give yourself time to heal before you jump into something else. And don't be afraid to ask for help from a therapist, counselor, coach, and so on. Focus on nurturing yourself. Take time to engage in activities that you love and enjoy, and surround yourself with positive people. Our success is determined by who we hang out with. If we hang out with negative people, then we're going to get dragged down. But if we hang out with people that are like inspiring, then we're more likely to move forward in our journey. So as I said, I'll put this all in the workbook and email it through. But there's some more information here around like the pretend game, the fiery flames. What if the bargaining is the what if, depression is stormy clouds, but then the calm after the storm is acceptance, where we go, it's okay, I'm going to be fine. This is quite a cool process. Remember happy memories when you're going through the recovery. Express your feelings, connect with others, open up about your grief, value self-care, prioritize yourself. It's so important to prioritize yourself and your health and your well-being. Explore healthy coping strategies. A lot of people go into alcohol and drugs and lots of stuff, but look at healthy ways of coping with these strategies that will help you. Reach out for support, and then look forward to a brighter future. Understanding emotions is so important, and then giving yourself the patience and the time to heal. Just quickly, again, this is from a change management perspective. It's everything we've already we've covered, but this is kind of like the stage that it goes through. So you go from denial to anger to bargaining to depression to acceptance, but none of this is linear. You can go from here to there, and then you could go backwards, or you can jump with, it's not that you're going to go from this stage to this stage to this stage. It may happen, but it's a journey. It could go back and forth. So what can we do in these 5 situations? So quickly, you may struggle to accept change and feeling shocked or numb. So acknowledge that change, write down the facts of the situation to confront reality, seek clarity, gather accurate information about the change to reduce uncertainty, focus on the present moment. So one of the things I've learned in the last year is that we only ever have the present moment. Yesterday was a present moment, today is a present moment, tomorrow will be a present moment. So every second that I'm talking, it's a past, and we're going into a new present moment. So if you focus on the present moment, then what happens is that all that fear goes away because you're okay at this present moment. So a good book to read if you'd like to learn more about it is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I found that really helpful. What else can you do? You can start journaling. And I was talking to a friend on the weekend, and she's so anxious. She's got so much stuff going on, and I said, what I'd encourage you to do is to write down before you go to sleep. Write down your thoughts, all your stuff that's worrying you. Write it down, get it on paper, get it out of your head, get it on paper. And then I said, then also write down what are 3 things that you're grateful for, and then ask your subconscious mind 3 questions that you want to solve. Now, subconscious mind only knows about the present moment. It doesn't know the difference between reality or imaginary. It just, whatever you present it, it just believes it, and it sucks it in. It just stores it in its hard drive. Of course. So start journaling, yeah, and then discuss change with someone that you can trust. Anger, or your frustration, resentment, blame, surface, and so on. So engage in physical activity or writing. Understand the anger is natural, and it's a natural reaction. To be kind to yourself. Use I statements. How are you feeling? I feel this, rather than blaming others. Write down what you're angry about. Identify aspects that are within your control. Use deep breathing exercises and techniques to manage your intense emotions. Andrea's going to take us through EFT today, so I'm just going to quickly go through this. And that's also a very good strategy as well. So bargaining, you'll feel you want to negotiate and rationalize. So shift your focus from what can be achieved in the new reality. Reframe, so identify potential positive outcomes and opportunities that might bring this change. Let go of the what ifs. Replace it with what if thoughts to what now, and redirect your mindset. You could also say, hey, subconscious mind, why am I so successful? Why is it an amazing word to use as well? Create a list of things that you can control. Take one step forward towards the action. Write down potential lessons for growth, opportunities in this change. Number 4, depression. When you're feeling sad, hopelessness, withdrawal, reach out to friends, family, professional. Practice self-care, prioritize yourself, make sure you're getting enough sleep, you're eating well, and you're doing some sort of activity, walking or exercise. Break smart tasks into small steps. If you're feeling too overwhelming, break them down into small things. What's one thing you can do today that's going to help you with achieving your goal? List 3 things that you're grateful for each day. Shift your focus to the positive. Engage in light physical activity like walking to boost your mood. Number 5, acceptance. So you've come to terms with your change and begin to embrace the new reality. So focus on the future, set new goals aligned to your current situation, celebrate small wins. It's so important to celebrate. We don't celebrate ourselves, you know. Every time we do something, even if it's small, celebrate it. And it helps us build motivation and moving forward. Stay flexible, remain open to adapting as needed, create an action plan for moving forward with new circumstances, and then reflect on what you've learned and how you've grown, and do a retrospective and just keep moving forward. The other things you can do is, as I said before, breath work helps you regulate intense emotions. Meditation encourages clarity, sitting with yourself and really being one with yourself and being silent is so important. Grounding exercises, going out onto the concrete or the earth and just grounding yourself in front of the sun will just ground you to Mother Earth. Holding an object or listening or calming sounds. Counseling and coaching, so important that you reach out to people who've learned these strategies that can help you navigate these transitions effectively. Before we go into the next, do we have any questions? No? Cool. All right. So Andrea, we're going to hand over to you to take us through the EFT tapping side of things.
Thank you so much. First of all, I just loved the presentation, and I wanted to say, like, I love the little tips that you gave, because each of those different stages, I mean, it really is important to know how to manage those. So that's really good. And also just to say, like, with any of those, you can actually use EFT tapping to even enhance it. So it's a really good one. So just to to start with, like, why is it important to kind of manage your emotions during these stressful job transitions? Because, like, losing or changing a job can sometimes feel like really disappointing, even, like, especially if you get laid off and you weren't expecting it, it can feel shocking or disorienting and even personal. Even though maybe so many other people also lost their job, somehow you feel like a failure. Sometimes that's how I felt, at least. Some common emotions that people have that are completely normal. You can have a sudden panic, and especially, if you have people that are depending on you, maybe you have a family, of course, we have, houses and jobs, or sorry, payments. And people can have this really, this panic and fear of the unknown that kind of clouds us, and so that we don't even know which next steps to take. And without tools to process these emotions, it can sometimes kind of spiral into this cycle of self-doubt and overwhelm. And we might even end up questioning our self-worth if we're not able to manage these different stages. And it's also important to recognize that, like, we might at this time, like, even kind of forget our values, like our value and our worth, because we might feel very discarded, very thrown away, very even betrayed. I know that for the last job, during the pandemic, like, I felt that I had done everything to prove myself, and I saw kind of other people getting let go one by one, and I was like, no, 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 not me. I'm going to work harder. Guess what? No. It didn't matter, and that felt very personal and like a betrayal. And I felt that in that moment, I felt very defined by my job, like I was, doing something with purpose and everything, and it just felt like a gut punch. So EFT tapping, and why can it be your ally for emotional resilience? So there's 3 different ways, and the first is to manage your changing emotions, because one day you might feel completely depressed, like Anthony said, healing is not linear. So one day you might be super angry, the next minute you might be overwhelmed with negative self-talk and kind of beating yourself up, or shoulda, coulda, woulda. And one of the helpful ways that EFT is good on a daily basis, just by yourself for 5 or 10 minutes, is using it in the morning just to ground yourself and focus on the day ahead. So this will help you to be calm, grounded, and responsive to situations, and less reactive. And I know that for myself, I do this every single day, because especially during really stressful times, if I throw myself into the day, I mean, just going to be kind of bumping into situations and people and just reacting. And it really helps to kind of feel under control with your emotions. And then, of course, like, if you're going through a stressful situation or a job transition, it's helpful in the evening to kind of clear the stress of the day and the overthinking. And it's kind of like meditation, but with an emotional release because you're physically tapping on yourself and you're calming your body's nervous system. And the second way that it's really helpful is to help to build your emotional resilience, because let's face it, we might feel good about ourselves, but if something sudden happens with our job, it can really derail our confidence. And it's important to be able to try to build ourselves up again and, kind of bounce back per se. And so during the day, it can help you recalibrate when things happen instead of getting derailed and kind of falling into, a panic or a frustration. And the third way is that it can really help to reclaim your confidence, because sometimes, like I said, losing your job can feel like you've lost a part of yourself, maybe a part of your purpose or your identity. And it can also bring up a lot of feelings of shame or guilt. I mean, telling your friends and family, okay, I got made redundant again, doesn't feel very good. And this is where working with somebody like a coach is helpful, because these are longer sessions, more detailed on what your personal struggle is, to help you get clarity, set intentions, and challenge the belief wounds that might have happened during that time. Because a lot of times we might be out searching for jobs, but inside we don't feel very good. And so we start to doubt ourselves and be like, okay, I'm too old to apply for that role. Oh, maybe I'm not educated enough, or they'll never take me because, and we can tend to find a lot of reasons why we wouldn't be good enough for something, or maybe we feel like we're too much. So what is EFT tapping? So EFT stands for the emotional freedom technique. And as you can see from the diagram, so it's basically using your fingers and you're tapping on acupressure points on the face. So it combines elements of, cognitive behavioral coaching, like just as Anthony was describing, and it's modern psychology, but also it releases the emotional intensity that's in the nervous system by sending a signal to the amygdala in the brain to calm the body's fight, flight, or freeze response. Oh, there you go. Look at that one. Yeah, so it was developed by Gary Craig in the 1990s. And it uses these specific points on the body to interrupt the negative emotions that come up, to help you process them and clear them. So we're not repressing them, we're not stuffing them away, we're allowing the body to work through them so that you can feel them and release them and let them go. And then you can put more positive affirmations on top to really boost your confidence. But you have to clear the negative first, otherwise it's kind of like polishing a dirty plate. So there are research-backed benefits. EFT is now used in clinical spaces, therapeutic spaces. They're also used in, schools, even in prisons, just to help people to be able to manage their emotions better. So whereas before it's, it was not very, everybody was like, what is that? It looks kind of funny. And I know that I thought that at the very beginning. Now it's becoming more widespread as they keep using it for different things, and it works. So the next slide. So I wanted to do a tapping round, and I'm trying to think of, I think that for the people that are in this workshop, which statement would be more relevant? I can get some insight from you guys, either like, I'm feeling stuck and scared of change. That would be like option one, or I'm anxious and scared or worried of this job transition. Which one feels like it resonates more? Maybe Dipak, the second one. So I'm anxious, worried, and scared of this job transition. Okay. And so what we're going to do, you guys are going to tap along with me, and I need an echo. So does anyone want to be my echo? Anthony, can you be my echo? Which means you repeat what I say.
I repeat what you say? Okay.
Yes. So I'm not talking to myself.
Okay.
Okay. And so would it be, the anxiety and the worry and the fear about this change because the job has been lost, like somebody has been made redundant, or it's like somebody who's going to make a big change? And Dipak, in your situation, what would be more
the change? It's what's next. It's the change part.
okay? And which aspect of the change feels the most, like, causes the most anxiety?
Not 100% sure of what, the uncertainty of the future, the uncertainty of what it will be.
Okay. All right. I might ask you some questions as we're doing this, but okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the points here. So this is the karate chop point. You guys are going to follow along with me. And then you can just take your fingers and lightly, like in between the eyes here, just lightly tapping. And then on the side of the eye here. All right. And then under the eye. And you might find that one of these, like, you're like, wow, this one feels really good. Because some of them you resonate with more than others. Underneath the chin. On the chest here. Okay. Underneath the arm. And just the crown, the top of the head. So would you say that we should stick with like just the fear of change and not knowing? Or also the elements of like being made redundant?
No, it's more, so the change is all right. It's actually the fear of uncertainty. It's the uncertainty. It's not knowing. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Coming.
it not knowing what the future will hold.
Okay. So should we stick, Anthony, does that seem like a good one in general for the,
Yeah.
also the, where, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And then how on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 meaning I'm not worried about it at all, totally fine, clear-headed, or 10, like I am really anxious and scared of this change and this uncertainty?
Well, look, I'm probably 5 or 6 in the middle somewhere, but towards the 10 side than the 0 side. But yeah, 5
Okay.
or 6.
So after tapping, if we could change that a little bit, would it be fair to say like you just like to feel a bit more like there's an opportunity and less fear in the uncertainty, maybe?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, stick with that. Okay, so we're going to breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth first. All right, and you're going to repeat after me, Anthony. Okay,
Yep,
so even
sure.
though
Even though
I'm anxious about this change,
I'm anxious about this change,
there's a lot of uncertainty,
there's a lot of uncertainty.
and I don't really know what's going to happen.
I don't really know what's going to happen.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
It could be really good.
It could be really good.
There's a side of me
There's a side of me
that's worried that what if it's bad?
that's worried that what if it's bad?
I feel really uncertain.
I feel really uncertain.
And that makes me kind of anxious about change.
It makes me quite kind of anxious about change.
And even though I'm really worried about this change,
And even though I'm really worried about this change,
because I feel totally uncertain,
because I feel totally uncertain,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
love, honor, and accept myself.
Even though
Even though
change can be really scary.
change can be really scary,
I really hope I succeed,
I really hope I succeed.
but a part of me is scared that I won't.
But a part of me is scared that I won't.
What if I don't?
What if I don't?
There's a lot of uncertainty.
There's a lot of uncertainty.
And that really worries me.
And that really worries me.
And even though I'm worried about change,
And even though I'm worried about change,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love, honor, and forgive myself.
love, honor, and forgive myself.
Good. Now we're going to tap through the points. This uncertainty,
This uncertainty,
side of the eye, this uncertainty,
this uncertainty,
below the eye. I can't control everything.
I can't control everything.
Below the nose, I can't control the outcome.
I can't control the outcome.
Below the chin, I can do my best.
I can do my best,
On the chest, but I don't know what's going to happen.
but I don't know what's going to happen.
Underneath the arm. And a part of me is kind of worried about that.
And part of me is kind of worried about that.
On the head, because what if it doesn't go well?
What if it doesn't go well?
In between the eye, what if I can't handle this?
What if I can't handle this?
Side of the eye, what if I don't succeed?
What if I don't succeed?
Although that would be so embarrassing.
That would be so embarrassing.
I love the note. I don't know what I would do.
I don't know what I would do.
I can't predict the outcome.
I can't predict the outcome.
Uncertainty is kind of scary
Uncertainty is kind of scary
because I can't have control.
because I can't have control.
I don't have control.
I don't have control.
I have to have faith.
I have to have faith.
I have to be determined.
I have to be determined.
I really want to do this,
I really want to do this.
but a side of me is worried.
But a side of me is worried.
A side of me is anxious.
A side of me is anxious.
A side of me is a bit scared,
A side of me is a bit scared.
but I know I have to do it anyway.
But I know I have to do it anyway.
I have to do it anyway.
I have to do it anyway.
But what if it doesn't work out?
But what if it doesn't work out?
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do?
I don't know if I could handle it if it didn't work out.
I don't know if I'm going to. I don't know. Sorry, what did it say?
I don't know if I could handle it.
I don't know if I can handle it if it didn't work out.
All that uncertainty
All that uncertainty
makes me really nervous.
makes me really nervous.
I can't control it.
I can't control it.
I can't control the outcome.
I can't control the outcome.
I don't have a crystal ball.
I don't have a crystal ball.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I just have to try my best.
I just have to try my best.
Either way, I have to try
Either way, I have to try.
because I might succeed.
Because I might succeed.
It might be the best thing I've ever done.
It might be the best thing that I've ever done.
Could change my life completely
Could change my life completely
in a really good way.
in a really good way.
That's just as possible.
That's just as possible.
So maybe this uncertainty is trying to tell me something,
So maybe this uncertainty is trying to tell me something.
but maybe it's not all bad.
Maybe it's not all bad.
Maybe I could release this anxiety.
Maybe I can release this anxiety.
Maybe I can release this fear.
Maybe I can release this fear.
Because uncertainty also means possibilities.
Because uncertainty also means possibilities.
There's also opportunities I haven't thought of.
There's also opportunities I haven't thought of.
I can release this anxiety.
I can release this anxiety.
I can release this fear.
I can release this fear.
I can release the confusion.
I can release the confusion.
Because uncertainty is not all bad.
Because uncertainty is not all bad.
I can't control everything.
I can't control everything.
I cannot control everything.
I cannot control everything.
But I can do what I can.
But I can do what I can.
I can control the things I can.
I can control the things I can.
I can do my best.
I can do my best.
I don't have to be perfect.
I don't have to be perfect.
I'm not perfect.
I'm not perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
I might make mistakes,
I might make mistakes,
but I'm learning.
but I'm learning.
So I can release this anxiety.
So I can release this anxiety.
I'm releasing the fear,
I'm releasing the fear.
releasing the fear of uncertainty.
Releasing the fear of uncertainty.
What if I looked at it differently?
What if I looked at it differently?
Because there's a lot of possibilities.
Because there's a lot of possibilities.
There could be a lot of opportunities.
There could be a lot of opportunities.
Things could also go really well.
Things could also go really well.
That's just as possible.
That's just as possible.
I have no idea,
I have no idea,
but I can try my best.
but I can try my best.
And really good things could happen.
And really good things can happen.
And I've dealt with uncertainty in the past.
And I have dealt with uncertainty in the past.
I'm still here.
I'm still here.
I've dealt with it.
I've dealt with it.
I've dealt with a lot of things in my life.
I've dealt with a lot of things in my life.
And I'm always learning.
And I'm always learning.
And I'm always growing.
And I'm always growing.
And I know more than I did 5 years ago.
And I know more than I knew 5 years ago.
I know more than I did last year.
more than I did last year,
And I'll probably know more next year,
and probably know more next year,
and I'll have more tools to handle it.
and have more tools to handle it.
So uncertainty is not all bad.
So uncertainty is not all that bad.
Change is always happening.
Change is always happening.
I can deal with it.
I can deal with it.
I've dealt with change in the past.
I've dealt with change in the past.
I didn't always know what was going to happen,
I didn't always know what was going to happen,
but I managed it
but I managed it
because I'm smart
because I'm smart
and I'm resilient.
and I'm resilient,
And I learned through every situation.
and I learn through every situation.
So this could be actually really good.
So this could be actually really good.
I'm willing to see all the possibilities.
I'm willing to see all the possibilities.
Sure, it might not be perfect.
Sure, it might not be perfect.
I don't know either way,
I don't know either way,
but there's no reason to fear
but there's no reason to fear
because I'm always creating possibilities.
because I'm always creating possibilities.
I'm always creating opportunities.
I'm always creating opportunities,
And there's lots of things that I don't know.
and there's lots of things that I don't know.
A lot of good things could be on the horizon too.
A lot of good things could be on the horizon too.
So I could be actually excited about the uncertainty.
So I could be actually excited about the uncertainty.
There's so many good things that could happen.
There's so many good things that could happen.
Things I haven't even thought of yet.
Things that I haven't even thought of yet.
That feels much better.
That feels much better.
I could be really excited about all this.
I could be really excited about all this.
Change is good.
Change is good.
Change can be exciting.
Change can be exciting.
Change can bring really good things.
Change can be really bringing really good things.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Can't wait to see what happens.
I'll be able to handle it
I'll be able to handle it
because I'm strong and resilient.
because I'm strong and resilient.
This could be amazing for me.
Because this could be amazing for me.
I am so looking forward to this.
I'm so looking forward to this.
This could be great.
Could be great.
I know I can do this.
I know I can do this.
There are so many possibilities.
There's so many possibilities.
I can't wait to see what unfolds.
I can't wait to see what unfolds.
It's already started.
It's already started.
It's getting lined up.
It's getting lined up.
This is going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing.
I can't wait.
I
On the
can't
fingers.
wait.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
I'm releasing the doubt
Releasing the doubt
that uncertainty is bad
that uncertainty is bad.
because I know I can do this
Because I know I can do this.
and I'll be able to handle it.
And I'll be able to handle it.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
And I deeply and completely
And deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
love, honor, and accept myself.
Good. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just check in with yourself, see if it's shifted any of the uncertainty. You were a 5 or 6 at the beginning, Dipak. Did it move at all?
Yeah. Well, look, it almost felt like I just meditated for the last 10 minutes. So it kind of just sort of, yeah. I'll go at, say 4 or 5 now. Yeah. I mean, I feel quite calm actually. It was, I'd never even heard of EFT. Yeah, I'd never even heard of this before. Never seen it, never heard of it. So
Oh, really?
no,
Yeah.
so that was quite cool actually.
It's good for a little boost. The
Yeah.
10-minute ones are just very short and concise. Obviously, like with longer sessions, you can do a lot more, but it's good to have these little power boosts.
Yeah, I feel quite calm.
Yeah.
Good.
And the more you do mindfulness, things like this, meditation, and really sitting and observing your thoughts. That's the best thing to do, is also sitting and observing your thoughts. And
Absolutely.
yeah, but yes, thank you so much, Andrea. That was amazing. I mean, I'm in the same boat. Was made redundant a month ago, and I'm on a new journey, and there's uncertainty, but I've got faith that, whatever's meant for me is coming. The key thing I want to say, the other thing is that whatever you focus on is what we become. So wherever we're putting our focus, our attention, our energy will flow there. So if we're focusing on negative things, then our energy will flow to negative things. If we start to look at opportunities, like just to give you an idea, at that networking event, I also met someone who does AI stuff. And I was talking, I just briefly introduced myself, but I didn't get a chance to talk to her. So I've connected with her and I'm meeting her this Friday. And then there was another lady that does change management and stuff that I met through LinkedIn. And I've just sent her a message saying, I'd love to connect with you and have a chat with you. So she's booked in a meeting with me. So what I'm doing is I'm taking action on things that mean. So once you start getting some clarity around, hey, what is it that I really, really enjoy? What is it that I really want to do? And you start putting your attention towards that, your energy will flow and things will start to happen, doors will open. And like when I went on this journey of podcasting, for example, and Andrea was one of my guests on the podcast, my intention wasn't just to do a podcast, but my intention was to create an environment where coaches with expertise can come and join me in collaboration. And this is the first collaboration we've done. I've got two more days of collaboration coming. I've got a coach tomorrow and another coach on Wednesday. And so, yeah, being intentional is so important. And then looking after yourself and looking after your well-being. And Andrea, is there anything else you want to share?
No, just like if anybody wants to know any more about EFT tapping, I've given Anthony 2 of my free ebooks. So
Yes.
one is for stress and anxiety, and the other one is just kind of a lot more that I could obviously explain in just a short presentation if you want to read some scientific articles about it and really understand. Because it's
Yeah.
an amazing tool, and it can be used with other things, with meditation, with journaling, with stuff like that. And
Yeah. So for those who haven't joined us in live but watching the replay, I'll be emailing you a workbook with the links and so on. And also just to give a disclaimer that this will be going up on YouTube. So hope you're okay with that. So I've created a playlist called Shift Happens, and so I'm just going to store all those videos in that. So you're okay with that, Dipak?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, and who knows, other people will benefit from what we've gone through today as well. So yeah, really want to thank you for joining. Do you have any questions? Anything that you'd like to? I think that was the last slide. Yeah. Any questions at all, Dipak?
No, thanks. That was useful. I think again, I've just focused, an hour on myself, right? To listen to you've shared. Both of you have been open to share it, and I think that's one of the key things, and as you said, Andrea, I've got to honor myself. That's an important thing. You sometimes forget that.
Yeah, so important to prioritize ourselves, right? And well done on you doing that for yourself, because this is investing in you, right? We often don't invest in ourselves; we invest in someone else. But it's so important to invest in ourselves, because time is currency, and where we spend our current currency, it's finite. So we've got to be careful where we spend, or mindful where we spend our currency, so that it's bringing us back a return on investment.
Thank you both.
Yeah. And also, if you're watching this replay, I'll put links to Andrea's website as well as the book ebooks, and also if you're looking at getting some EFT coaching from Andrea, please connect with her. If you're watching this and you want some coaching from a mindset perspective, please reach out to me as well. And let's get you moving forward on your journey to becoming an extraordinary you. So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
I'm
you.
just going to